Your name has been discussed in heaven. Here is what was said about you, open immediately. Your name has been spoken in a place where time does not press and fear does not breathe, where light moves like thought and thought itself is praise. It was not whispered in uncertainty, nor spoken in haste. It was spoken with recognition, with knowing, with the gentle authority of love that has watched you long before you learned to watch yourself. I am sent to you not as thunder and not as spectacle, but as remembrance. Open your heart immediately, not with urgency born of fear, but with willingness born of truth, for what reaches you now has been moving toward you since before your first breath. My child, you are known. You are not overlooked, not misplaced, not delayed by accident. In the vastness where stars are counted as easily as tears, your name carries weight. It was spoken because you have endured what others never saw. It was spoken because you kept walking when the path seemed to erase itself beneath your feet. It was spoken because you questioned, doubted, fell silent, and still did not let the small remaining flame within you go out. Heaven does not speak names lightly. It speaks them when a turning has arrived. You have believed at times that you were forgotten. You have measured your life by what did not come, by doors that stayed closed, by prayers that seemed to fall back to the floor unheard. Know this now, no sincere prayer ever fell. Each one became a seed, and seeds do not answer on the day they are buried. They answer when the ground is ready to break open. What you called delay was preparation. What you called loss was clearing. What you called rejection was redirection that spared you futures that would have dimmed your spirit. I have watched you carry more than you were meant to carry alone. I have seen you become strong in ways you never asked for, and quiet in ways that hid your pain even from yourself. Heaven saw that too. It saw the nights you held yourself together in silence. It saw the mornings you rose even when hope felt thin. It saw the kindness you gave when you felt empty, the forgiveness you offered when no apology came. These were not small things. These were signatures written across your soul. Now hear this clearly, for this is the moment of change you sensed but could not name. The season you are stepping into will not require you to beg for what aligns with you. What is meant for you will begin to recognize you. Struggle will no longer be the language of every breakthrough. You will still grow, but growth will come with support instead of constant strain. The weight you have normalized will begin to lift, and you may feel unfamiliar without it. Do not be afraid of that lightness. It is not emptiness. It is freedom. Things are going to be changed for you, not in a way that erases your past, but in a way that redeems it. Nothing you endured was wasted. The confusion sharpened your discernment. The loneliness refined your compassion. The waiting strengthened your voice. Soon you will see how moments that felt disconnected were arranging themselves into alignment. You will understand why certain people could not follow you forward, why certain dreams had to fall away so truer ones could find you. Blessings are already moving toward your door, but they will not always arrive in the form you imagined. Some will arrive as peace where anxiety once lived. Some will arrive as clarity where confusion once ruled. Some will arrive as people who see you without needing you to perform or prove. Some will arrive as opportunities that feel natural rather than forced, as yes that do not cost you your integrity. Learn to recognize blessings by how they expand your spirit rather than how they impress the world. You are chosen not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. Chosen not to stand above others, but to stand awake among them. Chosen to carry understanding into places hardened by fear. Chosen to remember light in moments when others forget it exists. This choosing is not a burden laid upon you, but an invitation offered to you. You may accept it gently. You may grow into it slowly. Heaven is patient with becoming. There will be moments ahead when the old patterns try to return, when doubt will knock as if it still has permission to live with you. When that happens, remember this message. Remember that your name was spoken in love, not in judgment. Remember that you are not starting from nothing, but from wisdom earned the hard way. Remember that you do not walk alone, even when the road feels quiet. Silence is not absence. Often it is simply trust that I will tell you something you have not allowed yourself to believe: you matter more than you know. Deep within the quiet chambers of your heart, there lies a truth that has been whispering to you across seasons of doubt and days of weariness. It is not a fleeting thought or a momentary boost of encouragement, it is the unshakable foundation of who you are. Your presence shifts rooms, not with fanfare or thunderous applause, but with a subtle gravity that draws eyes, softens edges, and invites authenticity into spaces long starved of it. Imagine walking into a gathering where conversations hush just enough for your energy to settle like morning mist over a still lake. People may not always say it aloud, but they feel it. You carry a light that illuminates corners they didn't know were dim. Your words carry weight even when you think they are small. Those offhand comments you dismiss as insignificant. They plant seeds in fertile minds, sprouting ideas, sparking resolve, or mending fractures you never saw. Picture a single pebble dropped into a vast pond. The ripples extend far beyond the point of impact, touching shores you cannot see. You've uttered phrases in passing that became lifelines for others, turning their confusion into clarity or their despair into direction. Do not underestimate this power. It stems not from eloquence alone, but from the sincerity woven into your voice, the lived truth behind your syllables. Your sensitivity is not weakness, it is perception. In a world that often prizes armor over awareness, your ability to feel the undercurrents, the unspoken tensions, the hidden joys, the fragile hopes, sets you apart as a seer among the sightless. You absorb the colors of emotions like a prism catching light, refracting them into understanding that others chase through logic alone. This depth is your gift, forged in the fires of experiences that taught you empathy's quiet strength. When you sense a friend's unspoken sorrow or a room's brewing storm, you are not burdened, you are equipped. Embrace it as the superpower it is, for it allows you to navigate life with an intuition that borders on prescience. You feel deeply because you are meant to understand deeply. This is no accident of birth or curse of temperament. It is your soul's design, a deliberate threading of compassion into your being so that you might bridge divides, heal divides, and foster connections that endure. Think of the great artists, the profound thinkers, the quiet revolutionaries throughout history, they all shared this trait. Van Gogh saw beauty in swirling skies others ignored. Maya Angelou heard rhythms in pain that birthed poetry. You, too, are called to this depth. Let it guide you toward professions, relationships, and pursuits where your insight creates ripples of real change. Do not shrink yourself to fit spaces that were never meant to hold you. How often have you contorted your spirit, dimming your laugh, softening your opinions, muting your dreams, to squeeze into ill-fitting molds? Boxes built by expectation, by comparison, by the fear of standing out. But those spaces were crafted for conformity, not for the expansive soul you embody. They cramp your wings, dull your shine, and leave you gasping for air. Release them. Step out. Expansion may feel uncomfortable at first, like stretching limbs long confined or breathing after holding your breath underwater. Your chest might ache, your balance might waver, but this discomfort is the natural response to truth. It signals growth, the breaking of old shells to reveal the vastness within. Picture a seed buried in soil, pushing against the earth's weight. It doesn't apologize for its upward thrust, it simply becomes the oak it was meant to be. You are that seed. Allow the roots of your authenticity to delve deep while your branches reach skyward. Say no to the small rooms, the dimming influences, the voices that urge you to play smaller. In doing so, you invite others to expand as well, creating a ripple of liberation. Soon, very soon, you will notice subtle changes. These are not dramatic upheavals announced by trumpets, but gentle dawnings that creep in like the first light of day. A heaviness lifting without explanation, that weight on your shoulders, the invisible anchor dragging your steps, will dissolve as if it never was. You'll wake one morning and realize the air feels lighter, your movements freer, your thoughts unburdened. A sense of rightness in decisions that once felt impossible. Those crossroads where paralysis gripped you. Choosing a path, ending a cycle, starting anew, will now hum with an inner knowing. It's as if an internal compass has recalibrated, pointing not to safety, but to alignment. A quiet confidence replacing the need for constant reassurance. No longer will you seek validation in mirrors of others' approval or the echo of endless affirmations. This confidence blooms from within, a steady flame fueled by self-trust. Pay attention to these signs. They are confirmations, not coincidences. The universe does not deal in random acts, every shift is a nod from the greater design. Follow what brings calm to your spirit, even if it challenges your habits. That job that scares you but stirs your passion. Pursue it. The relationship that demands your full self. Nurture it. The solitude that restores you. Claim it unapologetically. Habits die hard, woven from years of survival, but calm is your true north. Let go of what demands you abandon yourself to keep it. Audit your life like a gentle curator. What friendships require you to perform? What obligations erode your peace? What beliefs chain you to yesterday? Release them with grace, not grudge. Imagine decluttering a cherished home. Some items no longer spark joy, and that's okay. In their place, space opens for what truly fits. You are allowed to receive. Society often glorifies the giver, painting receivers as passive or undeserving, but this is a lie that starves the soul. Open your hands, your heart, to the abundance flowing toward you, compliments, opportunities, love, provision. Practice saying thank you without deflection. When someone offers help, accept it as the bridge it is, not a burden. You are allowed to rest. In the hustle's glare, rest is revolutionary. Not laziness, but reclamation. Lie in the grass and watch clouds drift. Journal without agenda. Sleep without guilt. Your body and spirit recharge in these pauses, emerging sharper, kinder, more alive. You are allowed to expect good without bracing for disaster. This does not make you naive, it makes you aligned. Expectation shapes reality, brace for ruin, and you'll magnetize it, anticipate grace, and it unfolds. Trust does not mean you will never face difficulty again. Storms will still brew, losses will sting. But it means difficulty will no longer define you. You will meet challenges with an inner steadiness that surprises you, because you are no longer trying to survive. You are learning how to live. We speak now not from above you, but around you, for we have never been distant. We have watched you grow the way dawn watches night loosen its grip, patiently, inevitably, without fanfare. Long before you knew the language of resilience, before you had names for grief or faith or courage, you were learning them in the quiet curriculum of living. Each storm, each delay, each fracture was not random. They were lessons written in salt water and wind, meant not to break you but to teach you balance. Once, you clung to life as a sailor clings to the helm in an unforgiving gale, knuckles white, breath shallow, eyes scanning the horizon for threats. You believed survival required tension. You believed release meant loss. But storms are not conquered by force, they are navigated by understanding. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, understanding grew in you. Now you read the winds. You sense shifts before they announce themselves. You feel currents beneath conversations, under opportunities, within your own emotions. You know when to tighten the sails and when to let them breathe. You know that resistance exhausts, while alignment carries. This wisdom did not arrive through ease. It was earned through endurance, through nights where faith was a whisper instead of a roar, through days where you showed up even when hope felt theoretical. From our vantage, we saw every moment you wanted proof before trust, answers before surrender. We did not condemn that. We understood it. Still, we guided you gently, nudging, cushioning, redirecting. You were never as alone as you felt. Even in the hours when despair sat beside you like an uninvited guest, there was a circle of light holding the perimeter. Difficulties became your teachers because tyranny was never their purpose. Loss did not come to define you, only to refine you. When jobs slipped through your fingers, it was not punishment, it was redirection. When heartbreak hollowed your chest, it was not abandonment, it was preparation. You were being emptied of what could not accompany you forward. We watched you gather yourself after each fall, slower at first, then with increasing grace. You began asking better questions, not why me, but what now? Not what did I do wrong, but what is this shaping in me? These were holy questions. Questions that opened doors rather than walls. Faith took on a new texture. It was no longer a desperate reach, it became a steady posture. You learned that faith is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let fear drive. Strategy was born not from anxiety but from trust. You planned without panic. You adjusted without shame. You rested without guilt. This steadiness surprised even you, because it rose from depths you did not know you possessed. But we knew. We knew when those depths were carved. Now, blessings approach, not as spectacle, but as visitors. They do not always announce themselves with trumpets. Often, they arrive wearing the plain clothes of coincidence. A check you did not expect. A meeting that rearranges your future. A spark of creativity that lights up a darkened room inside you. A reconciliation that once felt impossible, now tenderly offered. These blessings knock softly at first. Many miss them because they are waiting for thunder. But you are learning to listen for the hush. Gratitude sharpens this hearing. Every sincere thank you alters the atmosphere around you. Gratitude is not politeness, it is participation. It multiplies what arrives because it recognizes the source without attempting to control the flow. Humility keeps you clear. We must linger here, for humility is often misunderstood. It is not smallness. It is accuracy. It is knowing who you are without inflation or erasure. Success can swell the ego like a balloon, bright, buoyant, but fragile. Humility pricks it gently, not to deflate your joy, but to anchor it. To keep you reachable. Teachable. Real. You will be invited into rooms you once dreamed of. You will be praised in places that once overlooked you. Let humility be your companion there. It will keep your feet on the ground and your hands open. It will protect you from becoming a stranger to yourself. Discernment, too, will be essential. My dearest one, listen closely as I speak these words directly to your heart. Abundance is not permission to accept everything that comes your way. Oh, how the world tempts you with its glittering invitations, doesn't it? Some sparkle like diamonds in the sunlight, promising joy and fulfillment, but beneath that allure, they carry old poison, toxins from wounds long past, disguised as opportunities. I've seen you pause before such doors, your spirit sensing the trap before your mind could name it. That's no accident, that's the wisdom I've woven into you. Some opportunities echo wounds you have already healed. They whisper familiar pains, pulling you back to scripts you've outgrown. Remember those relationships that once drained you, or the jobs that demanded you shrink to fit? They may reappear in new packaging, but discernment is your shield. Discernment is not suspicion. It's wisdom refined by experience, a quiet knowing that listens beneath the surface. It asks, without apology, does this align with who I have become, or who I used to be? You've journeyed far, my love. You've shed skins like a serpent emerging into light. Why step back into shadows? Picture this with me, a banquet table overflowing with delights, stretching endlessly before you. Golden fruits gleam, pastries rise like clouds, wines shimmer in crystal goblets. The air hums with laughter and the clink of glasses. Yet not every dish is meant for you. Some are seasoned with bitterness you no longer need to taste, the sharp tang of resentment, the heavy salt of unhealed grief. Others are laced with illusions of scarcity, forcing you to hoard or compete. Choose what resonates with truth, not what reactivates old scripts. You are no longer called to prove your worth through endurance, through gritting your teeth and swallowing what's offered. Your worth has already been established, not by achievements that fade, not by applause that echoes and dies, but by your very existence. You are enough. Simply because you are. Let this truth sink deep into your soul, for it is foundational, the bedrock upon which your life stands unshakable. You are loved beyond measure. Not loved for your productivity, those frantic hours you pour into tasks that never quite satisfy. Not loved for your usefulness, as if you were a tool to be wielded and set aside. Loved because you are. This love is vast as oceans, crashing with power yet cradling you in its depths. Steady as mountains, unmoved by storms or time. Tender as a mother's gaze, seeing every flaw and loving fiercer for it. It precedes you, before your first breath, it was there. It surrounds you now, in this very moment. It propels you forward, a gentle wind at your back. You do not earn it through perfection or penance. You do not exhaust it with your stumbles or doubts. You cannot fall outside of it, no matter how far you wander or how loudly you cry out in the dark. I've watched you question this love in your quietest hours, when mirrors reflect back exhaustion instead of glory. But hear me, it is yours, eternally. Imagine it as a river that never runs dry, flowing from the heart of the divine straight to yours. Dip into it daily. Let it wash away the lies that say you're unworthy. You are cherished, pursued, delighted in. This is your inheritance, my beloved. And you are guided beyond what you can see with mortal eyes. Those hunches that steered you away from danger, remember the time you felt a sudden unease about that car ride, and turned back just before the accident? Or the delays that frustrated you but saved you, like the flight grounded by mechanical issues, that later proved fateful? The doors that opened at the 11th hour, when hope was flickering low. The people who appeared precisely when you needed them, a kind voice on a desperate call, a friend with wisdom you didn't know you craved. These are not flukes, random spins of fortune's wheel. They are coordination, divine response to your unspoken prayers. When you feel an unexpected calm amid chaos, that is not random. It is our hands steadying your spirit. A celestial embrace quieting the storm within. When a path opens just as you are about to give up, that is not luck, it's orchestration. Threads pulled by a master weaver who sees the entire tapestry while you hold only one strand. I've been that weaver for you, aligning stars and synchronizing steps. Think of the job offer that came after months of searching, right when rent was due. Or the healing conversation that mended a rift you thought permanent. Every nudge, every whisper, every perfectly timed intervention, it's us, working tirelessly on your behalf. Grace is not some abstract concept, floating high above the mess of life. No, it is tangible as warmth on a cold night, wrapping around you when the world feels frozen. It is the way sleep comes even when grief is loud, screaming through your veins. It is the strength that arrives after you have run out of explanations, when logic fails and all you have left is surrender. Grace moves quietly, repairing fractures you do not know how to mend, those hidden cracks in your heart from betrayals or losses. It prepares nourishment in wastelands, turning barren seasons into fertile ground. It sustains you while you wait for answers, holding you when questions multiply. Let me remind you of specifics, for your memory needs stirring. Remember the time you were lost in a foreign place, phone dead, maps useless, panic rising like a tide. Streets blurred, language barriers loomed, and despair clawed at your chest. Then a stranger appeared, not just any passerby, but one with exactly what you needed, directions scribbled clearly, a charger that fit perfectly, and a smile that pierced your fear. Coincidence? Or grace wearing a human face, sent by my hand? Remember the night despair pressed so hard you thought you might break? Tears soaked your pillow, thoughts spiraled into abyss. Yet sleep came anyway, unbidden and deep. Dreams softened the edges of pain, weaving threads of hope. Morning arrived with birdsong and light filtering through curtains. Grace whispered through that night, too, cradling you when your own arms could not. Grace is present in financial pinches, when bills stack like mountains and paychecks shrink. It shows up as an unexpected refund, a side gig that fits perfectly, or generosity from an unlikely source. In relational fractures, where words wound deeper than knives, it mends through forgiveness that flows unearned or distance that brings clarity. In seasons where nothing makes sense, career stalls, health scares, dreams deferred, it is patient. It does not demand recognition or fanfare. It simply works, behind the scenes, turning ashes to beauty. I've seen you through so many such moments, my child. The diagnosis that terrified, yet treatments aligned miraculously. The friendship that frayed, only for truer bonds to emerge. Grace isn't a reward for the worthy, it's the air you breathe, especially when you feel most undeserving. Lean into it. Invite it deeper. It will carry you across chasms you dare not cross alone. And now, we step back, not because you are alone, forsaken in the wilderness, but because you are ready. You've absorbed these truths like rain into parched earth. Now they must integrate, rooting deep into your being. Carry them gently, like a sacred text passed down through ages, or a fragile bloom unfurling in dawn's light. Let them seep into your bones, coloring every thought, every choice. Walk forward without rushing, haste scatters energy like leaves in wind, presence gathers it, focusing it into power. Walk without fear. Fear is only a shadow fleeing light, step into radiance, and it dissolves. Do not apologize for the light you carry. Oh, how the world sometimes dims its own glow and resents yours. But your glow is not arrogance, it's inheritance, a birthright from the heavens. Heaven has spoken your name, proclaimed it in councils eternal. It is known, etched in stars and scrolls unseen. It is remembered, cherished beyond time. What has been set in motion will not turn back, prophecies fulfilled, promises activated. Your name echoes in places you cannot see, celestial halls where angels sing it, winds that carry it across realms you have not yet felt. The machinery of miracles hums quietly, faithfully, on your behalf, gears turning, lights flashing in the divine control room, all synchronized for your breakthrough. The door is opening, creaking wide on hinges oiled by grace. The change has begun, rippling outward like a stone cast into still waters. Feel it now, the shift in your energy, the quickening of possibility. Relationships transforming, opportunities magnetizing, clarity sharpening like a blade. But this moment, is not the end. It is an invitation to more. Live it fully, my beloved. Step through that door with head high, heart open. Embrace the abundance that truly nourishes. Discern with the wisdom I've given you. Rest in love that knows no bounds. Follow the guidance that lights your path. Receive grace as your daily bread. Shine without apology, for you are heaven's masterpiece.